All right, we're back. We're on page 101 still of math analysis. And what we're going to do is try to actually use this a little bit. So now we are given that y equals 3/5 cosine of x plus 4/5 sine of x. So immediately I think 3/5 and 4/5 could definitely be the sine and cosine of some angle. I don't even need to know what angle. I just know that 3/5 squared plus 4/5 squared equals 1. So we can just do the problem. We don't have to worry about that. So let's see what we can do. So we want to write this 4 different ways. So what I recommend is you start off by just writing your formula out. So this one will be cosine x, cosine A, I should say. Cosine A, cosine B, and then minus sine A, sine B. Okay. So now what I need to do is rearrange the thing I'm given so that it matches this. I always take the variable and move it to the front. So I'm going to say that this is cosine x and then times 3/5. Now, I have an issue here because the given thing is a plus and the formula has a minus. So what I can do is I can just make it minus a negative. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to say minus sine x and then negative 4/5. And it's really important that when I multiply this by this, it becomes plus again. So the thing that I've written so far is exactly equivalent to the thing that we were given, which is essential. So now what I can do is I'm looking at it and I'm saying that the cosine, so I guess I'll try to color it in. The cosine of B is 3/5. And I'm saying that the sine of B, I'll use the same color as I used before, so it's a little more obvious. The sine of B is negative 4/5. So cosine is 3/5, sine is negative 4/5. So for angle B, I know that it has the ordered pair 3/5, negative 4/5. So where is that? That is over, x is positive, y is negative, over here. And so I need to figure out what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say that the reference angle, so I want the reference angle, right? Reference angle is going to be tan inverse of, well, I guess I could just use tan inverse of negative 4/3. So I think I'm going to do that, negative 4/3. It's not a reference angle though, that's the actual angle. The actual angle, so angle B. B is equal to, let me move this. So I'm not using the reference angle because I need a fourth quadrant angle that passes through this point. Arctan of negative 4/3 does it. So that's going to be angle B. So this thing that we were writing here simplifies to, so it's the cosine of A plus B. It's going to be cosine of X plus, well, we just figured out B was the tan inverse of negative 4/3. So we get that, and that's going to work. It's a little clunky though because of that minus, and we have to introduce a negative. So maybe this isn't the best choice, but it works. And what we'll do is do all of them, and then we'll graph all of them and see if it works the right way. So this should be sine A cosine B plus cosine A sine B. So because there's a plus in the middle here, this feels like a natural fit for this problem because there's a plus. So let's see if we can rearrange it so that it kind of meets our expectations. So one of the ways you can do that is I'm just going to write this one first. So I'm going to say this is sine of X and then 4/5 plus cosine of X times 3/5. And then you look at it and you're like, okay, so then the cosine of B is 4/5 and the sine of B is 3/5, which means over here for angle B, we said cosine is 4/5 and sine is 3/5. So that's quadrant 1, and that's good because that's the most obvious one, I guess. So I'm going to say that B is just arctan of 3/4. right? Y over X to get that. So we should be able to rewrite this and say Y is equal to the sine of X plus the arctan of 3/4. Okay, that should work. Let's keep going. So cosine of A minus B is cosine A, cosine B, and then plus sine A sine B. Because of the plus, this is a natural fit. So I'm going to go back up to the original and rewrite it so it fits. So cosine X times 3/5, and then plus sine X times 4/5. So note, I'm just rearranging for convenience, basically. And then I know, because of the way this has worked, that the sine of B is 4/5, and the cosine of B is 3/5. So for this angle B, I know has the ordered pair 3/5, 4/5, which makes B the inverse tangent. So if you choose the right formula, you'll always be getting a first quadrant point, and you can always just use arctan of Y over X. So if you choose the right formula, sometimes it's imposed on you and you don't really have a choice. So sorry about that. But if you have a choice, you should always try to choose the formulas that put you in the first quadrant, because your life will just be that much easier. So I'm expecting the next one to not be great. Usually there's 2 good choices and 2 bad choices. So this one, because the formula has a minus and the given does not have a minus, this is actually a bad choice. Doesn't mean we can't do it. It's just like, why are you choosing? Why are you making poor choices in life, you know? All right, so the original, we need sine A. So I'm gonna lead with this so that the variable will come first. So I'm gonna do sine X times 4/5. Sine X times 4/5. Now, because there's a plus in the given, I'm going to make it minus negative 4/5. No, minus negative 3/5 cosine, because this is what I'm dealing with right now. So I'm going to make this minus negative, minus negative 3/5. So minus, but I'm going to write cosine X first. Minus cosine X times negative 3/5. So again, kind of clunky. And that's usually a sign that you're doing it not wrong, but maybe not in the best way, because there's always 2 simple ways, simpler ways, let's say. So we get this. So here we know that the point that goes with B, kind of using the unit circle again, using all the stuff that we already know, 4/5, negative 3/5. All right, so that's in quadrant 4. So again, I'm going to say that B, I feel like B, I don't really know. B is, I feel like it should have some sort of decoration for some reason, like all of a sudden. It's like, oh my God, you can't just write that. So the tangent of, we're going to go with negative, because, so inverse tangent of a negative does put you in quadrant 4, so it's not the wrong thing to do. So this will be sine of X minus tan inverse of negative 3/4. Okay, so that's what we think Y is equal to. So that's 4 different ways to do it. And let's see how it went. So I'm gonna graph these, I guess. We could also expand them and see that we get the same thing. Well, potentially. We also could have gotten them wrong. So calculator, new problem. So doc4 and enter. Calculator. Let me try expanding. I'm gonna do T expand, right? Which is in like menu 3, possibly B something. I don't know. Read the menus as you're going. So I'm gonna expand cosine of X plus arctan of negative 4/3. I forgot parentheses. Of negative, I don't know if I forgot a parentheses or somehow I made a 9, which is 3/5, 3 cosine plus 4 sine over 5. That's exactly what we were given. All right, that's good. I'm gonna use T expand on these. T expand, ew. We could also use graphing if we wanted to. Sine of X plus arctan of 3/4. Same. T expand. Cosine of x minus arctan of 4/5. No, 4/3. Same. And the sine of x minus arctan of negative 3/4. Oh, why? Oh, I forgot T expand. T expand. The answer, which is the same as what we had previously had. You'll notice the calculator does some weird things sometimes. Like it changed our answer from arctan, from sine of x minus arctan of negative 3/4 into sine of x plus arctan of positive 3/4. The calculator is actually using the fact that arctan is an odd function. So if f of x equals arctan of x, then f of negative x is negative arctan of x. So f of negative x equals the negative of f of x. By definition, odd function. It's an odd function, so you can actually kind of like factor out a negative from an arctan, which provides another way of rewriting all of your formulas, which is good. I mean, it's like useful to see. And actually, let me go back and point out. So that it's the arctan is always an odd function. So let's go back and look really quickly, because if you choose to use a wrong function, not wrong, but like not the right, what am I trying to say? If you choose to use a more challenging function, take a look at what happened, right? So since arctan is odd, this part here will become the negative arctan of 4/3. So really it's x minus arctan of positive 4/3. Compare to this. It's the exact same answer. So actually, if you use the function that kind of feels wrong, you end up with an equivalent but harder to get version of the same answer. And this happened here too. And both of those are because arctan of x is odd. So it does, not add, odd. It doesn't matter which formulas you use. So there's really only 2 ways, but you can go about it 4 ways. So make the right choice to begin with, and you don't have to deal with this. So I'm going to stop this video here, come back in the next page, and we're doing, I think, 3 examples that are like this, where we're going to use the best available option. So I will see you there.